Hello everyone, this is CJNovo992 and today we're back for another brand new video. Today is a video after an eventful first night where the fireworks were happening on and off the park. It's time to refocus, reset and get our eyes on the most important game of the week, which is of course up against Hamilton. Now, as I forgot to mention it in my last video, as my plums were well and truly plumped with that late equaliser, just a friendly wee reminder in case you enjoy the content and you enjoy the videos, please consider hitting that subscribe button. Over 53% of our regular viewers haven't actually hit the subscribe button yet watch every video, so if we can start challenging those numbers and get that number down, 55k dream may just become a reality. But back to the actual football then, shall we? Getting in with the old oppositional preview, we face a Hamilton side that's bottom of the SPFL. And you know what, there is some people out there that know it's getting closer to Christmas when the cola advert comes on the telly with the train and the Santa Claus. Some other people know it's getting closer to Christmas when the Christmas tunes start getting played on the radio. But me, I know it's getting closer to Christmas, people, when Hamilton go bottom of the league, because there's not a team in the history of world football that teases with relegation more than Hamilton Football Club. They are always bottom around this stage. Then, you know, it's January when Hamilton start picking up points and rebound from that looked certain relegation to somehow survive yet another season. But thankfully, it's not January yet, people, and we face this Hamilton side that is bottom of the SPFL and are coming into this game versus Rangers on a 3-game losing streak. Well, I should say 3-game losing streak in the actual league, and those 3 losses have came to Hibs, St Johnstone and Aberdeen. Now, to be fair, there's no surprise in them going ahead and losing games versus Hibs, St Johnstone and Aberdeen, but it's actually the way and the manner that they're losing the games which is very surprising. Because normally when you think of Hamilton Football Club, you think of a well-drilled, well-disciplined, organised side that very rarely gives much away. Yes, they didn't always win games of football, but when they do lose, it's 1-0 or the occasional 2-0, because defensively, they're usually sound. But that's not really been the case with their recent form coming into this game, because they conceded 3 versus Hibs, they conceded 5 versus St Johnstone, and in their most recent game, coming to this one versus Rangers, they conceded 4 versus Aberdeen. And that right there is why a lot of people are saying this may be the year that Hamilton don't bounce back and don't respond, because they don't have that defensive foundation. They seemingly have lost their defensive discipline over the last 5-6 weeks, and teams are really punishing them on that. However, as damning as the last 3 league games have been from a defensive point of view, and the fact that they have lost 4 of the last 5 league matches coming into this game versus Rangers, where their only non-loss in the league in those last 5 games has been that score draw versus Dundee United. But it does need to be said, where they've lost their defensive discipline, they seemingly have found an attacking one, because they're now starting to put the ball in the back of net, as they scored 2 versus Hibs, they scored 3 versus St Johnstone, and they scored 2 up at Aberdeen, which to me is an indication that this team still has an attacking threat. Yes, but based on the results, are they doing enough to win games of football? Of course not. Their defence has been royally dog meat, but we all know they're going to be a lot more defensive versus us than they are versus the rest of the league. That's just what happens whenever a team plays against Rangers. So with more bodies in the back areas, that does leave them maybe to gain a bit of confidence by how many goals they're actually be able to score. And they've got 2 centre forwards now finding confidence in front of the net, and that's always a dangerous thing to have going into a game of football, a team that knows they can score goals. And with that being said, that's actually the oppositional preview wrapped up right there. This Hamilton side are what they are, people. They are filled with a lot of young players, and when you do build your team that way, they are going to have really off-form moments, and that's exactly what you're seeing right now, especially defensively, where that door is just blowing all the way open. But under Brian Rice, who I think is a very good manager, Gerrard paid a lot of respect to him during this week's press conference. We know he will get them well drilled and well established for this game. It's never easy versus Hamilton, and I honestly hope we are going in with the same amount of focus and respect for Hamilton as we did for Benfica, because when we didn't do that in the past, we saw what happened at the end of last season, where we dropped points to teams sitting bottom, second bottom. So I am really looking forward to the game from that aspect, because I think this gives us yet another opportunity. Just tick off the checklist of what we didn't have last year, and again answer any critics that still somehow lingering around this Rangers team. But as we've already started talking about Rangers, let's transition to what matters most then, shall we? And give you important updates regarding team news, injury updates, and just all things Rangers. And starting off where we kind of finished, the Hamilton preview from the Rangers perspective. Coming into this game right here, nothing short of 3 points would be a horrendous result, let's be brutally honest about that. But I'm looking back now on that Thursday game with football and saying, you know what, that might just be the best thing that can happen to us for the next 3 or 4 weeks. That is the shot in the arm that we require every 5-6 weeks. We had one versus Livingston, went on a brilliant run. We had one versus Hibernian, went on another run. And I think that, given the way, yes, I know it was still a point and that's a great result before the game kicked off, but the way it actually unfolded, that right there, that result may just give us that extra bit of motivation going into a game versus Hamilton where, no disrespect to Hamilton or their players, it might have just been lacking a little bit. Know that we wouldn't have been 100% focused on the tie because we've seen from this year being able to transition from Europe into league and get the job done. But now I feel like we've added a wee bit more spice on the fire, and we're going to see a Rangers team from the first whistle to the last really have something to take out in a team, really be annoyed and pissed off about something, and just put a team to task. And I think that's what would be needed, ladies and gentlemen, and I think that is what we're going to see the more of. Because it's going to be the international break after this game. There's no midweek game to save a little bit yourself for. Nah. One game, go out there, and then you'll get a 2-week rest. And that prospect of Gerrard pretty much just taking the leash off them and just letting them run away at the park is a very, very exciting one to me as a fan. Now though, before we go ahead and finish up with the latest Rangers team news / injury updates, we need to take a brief wee second out to give a massive congratulations to Connor Golton and Steven Gerrard for winning Manager of the Month and Player of the Month respectfully. And I think all of us, including Rocky, as you may or may not have just heard, can all agree with that decision. Both of them have been absolutely sensational, and I genuinely couldn't be happier for the big man Goldson. He deserves that after everything, playing every minute in every league game and every European game since he's came here after what he went through off the field. Tremendous, and let's hope the big man can keep this form up, because that own goal aside, which was not his fault at all, by the way, nobody can possibly blame him for that. He's been absolutely outstanding this season, and he is a major player for this team and why we are playing so well. It's his ability to pick the passes out from the back that gets us forward, that beats these low blocks, that beats the teams that's trying to set up to stop our movement. He's just such an invaluable player this year, and I'm so damn proud and happy for him. And you know what's absolutely fantastic is the smiles just continue as we transition into the Rangers injury / updates regarding the squad, because Gerrard confirmed it himself. Every single player is available for selection ahead of tomorrow's game, apart from obviously Katic, who is our only long-term injury. But as everyone knows that, the fact that Gerrard could sit here and say everyone is available selection not only gives him a major headache, but gives this guy, and I'm sure a lot of people watching, massive grins, because we've been here many times in these preview videos and sat here with a list like down to here with names, but everything seems to be flowing in the right direction right now, and that is absolutely fantastic. However, it may be worth noting the fact that Scotty Arfield has apparently got a little bit of a knock, but Gerrard did confirm he doesn't expect it to affect him coming into this game. And I'll be brutally honest, if there is one name that I expect to be on the team sheet versus Hamilton tomorrow, it is going to be Scotty Arfield, given the way it all went wrong the second he walked onto that park versus Benfica, and especially the third goal in that as well. I'm sure he will have a point to prove and want to make up to his teammates and probably make up to everyone watching, even though the man's literally made 2 mistakes all season and they were both in the same game. So I don't think he's got anything really to prove to anyone, but knowing his winning mentality and his mindset, I'm sure he'll be looking to go out there and make a performance for Oyers, Namora, and I think he will, by the way. I expect Scotty Arfield, and for the thumbnail, to be like this. And speaking of that famous salute, by the way, let's get to the old predictions then, shall we? Because speaking of Scotty Arfield takes me right into my goal scorers. But before I go ahead and give you my opinion on what I think will happen. Get involved down there in the comment section below. It's just a bit of fun, it's just a bit of a laugh, and it's always interesting to see if someone can get it absolutely spot on. So whilst you guys are hopefully getting your thoughts and opinions out there, I will give you mine very, very briefly. I'm expecting a big angry performance from Rangers, starting off strong, but instead of maybe taking it easier in the second half, I'm expecting a full kilt, especially going in to international break. So I'm going to go higher than I have done maybe since week 2 or week 3. Maybe. Who knows? Week 3 of the actual season, and I'm actually going to go Rangers 4, Hamilton 0. My goal scorers are as follows. Scotty Arfield, it's written in the stars. Tavernier, and I'm expecting Ryan Kent to get back on the score sheet, and I think there will be a goal for your man Hadji. And with that being said, people, that is us all done and dusted. Hopefully you did enjoy today's video enough to be hitting that like button, as it's always greatly appreciated. But before we finish up today's video, I need to say a massive thank you from me to thee for taking time out of your day to sit here and watch the channel. Take care of yourselves, everyone. I'll see you in the next video. All the best, and bye bye.